Daylight Saving Time (DST) has been a controversial topic for many years. It is the practice of setting clocks forward by 1 hour during the summer months and returning them back to standard time during the winter months. Many countries around the world, including the United States, participate in DST. However, there is a growing debate on whether or not DST is beneficial. One of the main arguments for DST is that it saves energy. By pushing the clock forward, we can utilize more natural daylight and reduce the need for artificial lighting. Studies have shown that this can lead to significant energy savings, which can reduce our carbon footprint and have a positive impact on the environment. Another benefit of DST is its effect on the economy. Longer daylight hours mean that people are more likely to go out and spend money, which can boost economic activity. In addition, many industries, such as tourism and outdoor recreation, benefit from longer daylight hours. However, there are also several drawbacks to DST. One of the main concerns is the impact it has on our sleep patterns. Studies have shown that disruptions to our circadian rhythms can lead to increased levels of fatigue, which can affect our health and productivity. In addition, DST can also disrupt schedules and routines, making it more difficult for people to plan and manage their time effectively. Another concern with DST is its impact on safety. Longer daylight hours can lead to increased visibility, which can reduce the risk of accidents and crime. However, there are also concerns that the practice can lead to increased levels of sleep deprivation, which can increase the risk of accidents on the road. In conclusion, the debate on DST is ongoing. While there are clear advantages to the practice, such as energy savings and economic benefits, there are also significant drawbacks, such as disruptions to our sleep patterns and concerns over safety. Ultimately, it is up to policymakers and citizens to decide whether or not DST is worth the trade-offs. The adoption of daylight saving time (DST) as a regular practice is a relatively recent phenomenon. It has been in use for only about a century. Initially, it was proposed as a wartime measure to conserve fuel during World War I. However, the practice has since been adopted in peacetime, with the vast majority of countries across the world turning their clocks forward and backward each year. The first DST was introduced on July 1, 1916, in Germany. The introduction of DST was spurred by the fuel shortages and rationing brought on by the war. Germany was the first to introduce this timekeeping policy, beginning on April 30, 1916. The rest of Europe, including Britain, quickly followed suit, with the United States soon after, in March 1918. The practice was met with mixed reactions. While many people approved, others opposed the change, and there was even a considerable amount of resistance in some countries. Daylight saving time was initially introduced to adjust the time so that people could enjoy more daylight during the long summer days. The idea was that people would use less artificial light, ultimately conserving energy during wartime. The daytime hours would be longer, which would mean people could stay outside later and reduce energy consumption by cutting lighting needs. By the end of the war, the practice of daylight saving time became so established that it was rarely questioned. Many countries adopted daylight saving time as a year-round policy long after the war. Countries such as New Zealand maintained it as a temporary wartime policy for several more years, though it was discontinued eventually. The United States and many other countries continue to observe daylight saving time, turning their clocks forward by 1 hour in the spring and back 1 hour in the fall. In conclusion, the introduction of daylight saving time was initially a wartime measure, which spread rapidly as a means of conserving energy. Although it met with opposition in some countries, it was widely accepted as a practical solution to a wartime problem. Until this day, DST continues to be practiced worldwide as a means of making better use of the longer daylight hours. While it seems unlikely that it will be discontinued as a policy, it is interesting to look back and understand why and when DST was adopted as a regular policy worldwide. Daylight savings time (DST) is a common practice across several parts of the world. This practice involves adjusting the clock by an hour to maximize daylight hours, particularly during summer. It is used to conserve energy and make use of longer daylight hours for productive activities. However, the question of when DST starts is always contentious, with different regions adopting different dates. In the United States, DST starts on the second Sunday of March when the clock is adjusted by an hour forward, commonly referred to as springing forward. The move allows people to take advantage of the long, sunny days of summer. The practice ends on the first Sunday of November, where the clock falls back an hour. The extra hour is used to maximize time indoors, notably during bleak winter months. Initially, DST was introduced in the U.S. during World War I, but its implementation became regular in 1966. Some states in the U.S. do not observe DST, such as Arizona and Hawaii. Arizona stopped the practice in the 1960s because the long, hot days made the practice impractical. In Hawaii, the state is nearly on the equator, and the amount of daylight does not vary significantly across the year, therefore, there was no need to adopt the practice. In Canada, DST varies across different regions, with the province of Saskatchewan being the only region which does not observe DST. In other provinces, DST starts on the second Sunday of March and ends on the first Sunday of November, similar to the United States. Several parts of Europe also observe DST, although not necessarily at the same time. In the European Union, DST starts on the last Sunday of March and ends on the last Sunday of October. However, several countries within the EU do not observe DST, such as Russia, which abolished it permanently in 2014. In conclusion, the timing of the start of DST varies globally, with different regions adopting different dates. In the US, DST starts on the second Sunday of March and ends on the first Sunday of November, while in Europe, it starts on the last Sunday of March and ends on the last Sunday of October. However, not all regions observe DST, with some such as Arizona and Saskatchewan abstaining from the practice. Ultimately, the aim of DST is to maximize daylight hours and conserve energy across the different regions that practice it.